Okay, let's try this again. I'm bandaged up after accidentally stabbing myself, so remember, never cut towards yourself when you're cutting things. Welcome to Seeking Discovery. I'm Ryan, and I have a passion for travel and building things. At the end of 2020, I decided it'd be a great idea to purchase my very own school bus to convert into a tiny house. So come along as I make mistakes, learn a lot, and make lasting memories, turning this old bus into a new tiny home. And if you haven't done so already, be sure to hit that subscribe button to follow along on all the adventures. I look forward to sharing this with all of you. And as always, continue to explore every day. Welcome back to Seeking Discovery. It is a new day, which means it's time for a new project. So the goal for today is to actually get the heater out of the bus so that I can finish ripping up the floor. So I'll show you what we're going to be working on. So this is the heater that we are trying to get out, which means I need to disassemble over there, close the loop, cut the line, collect the coolant, and then we should be able to get that out without too much issues. So let's see how this goes. The first step to getting the heater out is we have to turn off the supply lines for the coolant. So to do that, we have to go under the hood of the engine. So we're gonna come over here, there's these little straps. I already unlooped that one. Come around to the other side of the bus. Got another one here, gonna unlatch that. And then the easiest way to get it open is just to grab here, kind of like a handle, give it a little bit of a pull, and it'll come right up. So what we're looking to turn off for the coolant line is located right here. So you can kind of see it's these two knobs. We're gonna tighten them both off, which will cut off the coolant supply to the heaters. And then we can go inside and start looking at how to cut the cords and take it apart. So righty-tighty, righty-tighty. They weren't open very much when I got the bus, so there we go. They should be shut off now. The other thing we want to make sure turned off is this heater, which it is in the off position already, because this front heater will be staying, but the back heater will not. So as you can see, we've got the heater upright here, so I'm going to start by disconnecting these two hose clamps, and then we're going to try to catch as much of the coolant in this bucket as possible so that I don't make a big mess. Then once the coolant's out of the line, it'll be easier to cut it back towards the front heater, hopefully without making too much of a mess. So the first thing I did is put on some gloves just because I really don't want to get this coolant all over my hands. I also checked and found the socket that I needed to undo these clamps. So let's go ahead and see how much of a mess I'm going to make. Let's try to get these zip ties off here. There's one of them. Okay, let's try this again. I'm bandaged up after accidentally stabbing myself, so remember, never cut towards yourself when you're cutting things. So I've got new gloves on. We're gonna come in, we're gonna break off these angle braces so that I can continue getting this hose off. So I think I'm gonna have to cut it, but I'm going to be extra careful to make sure that I don't put myself in harm's way. So now I'm using the screwdriver to pry open the seam. Ooh, definitely making a little bit of a mess. See if we tip it towards the bucket, can we get some of it to drain? Okay, so now we got some of that liquid out of there. Let's get this hose off. Now what we want to make sure is that that hose doesn't drop any lower than that end until it's drained. Okay, now that we got the one off, we're going to try to do the same thing with the other one. So as you can see, I got my socket here. And they're not on that tight. All you need to do is get them a little bit loose, and then you can do it by hand. Oh, maybe not. So just like the other one, we got it loose, a little bit more. There we go. That hose clamp's out of the way. You just need to get this hose off. So like I did last time, I'm just gonna come in here with the serrated part of my knife, keeping my hand away. Okay, now that there's a slice in it, let's get the screwdriver back out. And just like the other one, we want to catch the liquid so that we don't make a big mess. So we're just going to leave that there for a minute, get the scraper out of the way. And I'm going to take the bucket and take it over to the stairs, drop it down the stairs so that the hose is lower than where it currently is to let the rest of it drain out. Okay, quick update. So I just got back from running to my local Ace Hardware, and I picked up some of these fittings so that I can create a U for the hoses to close off the coolant. So basically these are going to get put together like this. You're going to put one hose here, and going to put some hose clamps on them. These threads will both be wrapped with tape to make sure they're sealed real good, and I'm going to go throw them in the vise, really crank down hard on them with some wrenches, and then we'll cut down this hose and get these put in and hope for the best. So as you can see, got this threaded together. You can see that there's some tape in there, so it's kind of aligned how I want it to be. So now it's time to cut the blue hose, get these in, get those pipe clamps on, and really tighten down on them. Okay, now we're going to cut these lines. I am gonna leave maybe about a foot and a half coming out of where the other heater is, just so I can service it in the future if I need to. And I can always cut it shorter later, but for now, that's kind of what the goal is. So I'm gonna go in with the knife, cut it, hope that I really did get all the coolant out, otherwise this may get messy real fast. And I'm basically gonna cut this right in here, so if there is anything left, it'll drain right back into the bucket. There we go, one cut. And there we go, simple as that. We've now got our cuts. I'm gonna pull the hose clamps off of the other ends, and we'll get ready with the other fitting. So we've got the hose clamp slipped on there. I've got my little U-shape pipe here that I put together. So now we're gonna stick them in and tighten down. And the goal is to get these pipes in there as far as they'll go. And it looks like there was a little bit of coolant left in one of those hoses, so I'll have to clean this up afterwards. I moved the hose clamp up just a little bit to make sure it's getting a real good bite into the threads of the 90s. And there we go, just deleted the heater. I'm gonna wipe up this extra from the one hose, and then we'll wrap some paper towel around that and make sure it doesn't leak at all. Now that we got the heater inside taken out, we can turn these knobs back open. And now once the batteries are charged in the bus, we'll be able to fire it up and make sure everything works. Well guys, good news. I just checked the loop that we created with that pipe fitting for the heater, and the trickle charger on the battery got it up big enough, or enough voltage, that I could actually start the engine, and had it going for a good probably 5-10 minutes. Turned the heater setting to on, made sure the heater was open and the shutoff valves were open, and from what I can tell, it doesn't look like there's anything leaking, which is awesome. So that's going to wrap up today's projects. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, leave a comment below if you have any tips or ideas as we go through the build, and be sure to subscribe so you can follow along as we convert this school bus into a brand new tiny house. We'll see you in the next build video.